Hello guys, we're going to start our console applications. I'm going to open up Visual Studio, and we're going to be doing the HelloWorld programming assignment in the basic programming course. Once you open up Visual Studio, you'll want to select Create a New Project here. It's going to ask you what template to go off of. We're going to do the C# console application. Make sure it says C# up there and console application. Then next, project name. It's going to be the HelloWorld project. Then we're going to put underscore our last name and then your first name. So I put Houston Morgan, and then you hit next and create. And usually, if you don't specify where it's going to be created at, it'll create it inside your on your hard drive, inside users, inside your profile name, and then inside the source, and then inside repos. We have the HelloWorld. This is where all your projects will be created for these console applications. So let's look at our application. So this is a C# class file right here. At the top, these are namespaces that we import that we could use. And this system namespace allows us to use the console.writeLine. Console is the class, and this writeLine is a method or a function. And a method or a function just executes a set of instructions. And what this method does is it prints something to the console. So if I just hit play, and once you hit that play button, the green play button, it will launch your application. And once your application is launched, it's going to call this main method by default every single time on these console applications. Yeah, so the main is called right when you start your application, and then that's going to call this console.writeLine HelloWorld, and that's going to print HelloWorld to our console. So just remember that main is called every time you hit play. So if nothing's inside this main method, nothing will be executed. All right, now let's go to the assignment. So we're going to write a program that welcomes the user. First, we're going to ask the user for their first name, and we could, I'm going to change this from Hello World, and then I'm going to ask the user for their first name. What is your first name? So that's going to print what is your first name to the console. And now we need to have it where the user can now input their first name, because right now you see it just kind of ends. It says press any key to close the window. So it just ends the application. So we need to have it wait until the user enters their name. So it says assign the first name the user inputs into a string variable called first name. So we're going to create a string variable. String is a type. And we're going to call it, give it an identifier of first name. We're going to set this equal to console.readLine instead of writeLine. This is going to read whatever the user enters. And then once they hit enter, it's going to assign whatever they entered for their first name to the first name variable we created. Now it's going to ask the user for their last name. So we can do console.writeLine. What is your last name? And we're going to store this in a string variable called LastName. And then the assignment's asking us to print a message that says something like, hello, John Doe, if the user inputted John for the first name and Doe for the last name. So this is going to be a console.writeLine because it says we're printing a message. So whenever you see something that says print a message, just know it's going to be a console.writeLine. And we want to say a message saying, hello, And then our first name, last name. So hello, John Doe. So we can interpolate this string by putting a $sign at the front of it. And then wherever we want to put variables, we can put these curly braces and just put the variable we want to put there. So it's going to say hello, John, space, and then more sets of curly braces, and then last name, and then an exclamation mark. And that's all inside of these double quotes. And then the $sign just goes right before the double quotes, saying that this string is going to be interpolated. Awesome. So that's one way to print that out. And let's run the program and see what it looks like now. So it says, what is your first name? Now I can enter my first name and then hit enter. Now it's asking for my last name. So enter my last name, hit enter. And then it prints out a message saying, hello, Morgan Houston. Perfect. So if I entered like John Doe, it would have said, hello, John Doe. So that is perfect. Another way to print out the message without concatenation, you can use, without string interpolation, you can use concatenation, which is you remove without the $sign. So you'll end the text with the double quotes, and then you'll put a plus to add on your variable. So we're going to concatenate our first name. We need another plus after first name. And we want a space between our first name and our last name. So we're going to put double quotes, put a space there. And then another plus symbol, so we can concatenate our last name to that. And then we're going to have another plus and another set of double quotes. So this right here is going to print the same message out, but this way is just called concatenation with all these pluses and double quotes. This way is a little... I feel like just more typing doing it this way, so I like the string interpolation way better, but you do get the same exact result. So I'm going to be Billy, and my last name is Bob. We get hello, Billy, Bob. Awesome. Perfect. So now it says add comments to your code, explain what each line/piece does. So I like to put my comments right above the line of code, or also to the side of line of code also looks nice. And a comment is the // and then it turns green, so anything after that is going to be commented out. And this comment just asks the user for first name. This line of code right here, this line of code asks the user for their first name. This line of code assigns user input to first name variable. And then this one asks the user for last name. And then this line assigns user input to last name variable. But sometimes you can't see that over there, so I also like to have the code right above it. It also looks better this way. Alright, so this one asks the user for the first name, assigns user input, asks the user for the last name, assigns user input, and then this piece of code just prints a welcome message with first name and last name. Alright, so there's our comments. Excuse me. So for these console applications, the main bulk of your code is going to go inside this main method. So this is the main method. I'm going to give this a comment. Right, so this main method is executed right when your application starts. So when you hit this play button, your application starts, and it's going to call the main method and execute the set of instructions in here. This class, the program class, is the main class for our program. And then this namespace is our namespace for this project. And a namespace is just a collection of classes, and a class is just a collection of methods and variables. And we'll get into that later on, farther in. All right, so this system class allows us, or namespace allows us to use the console class and a lot of other stuff inside the system namespace. And then our namespace, the HelloWorld Houston Morgan, is our namespace, and it just holds all of our classes. And right now we only have one class, which is the program class, and that's the main class for our program. And then we have this main method, which is executed right when our application starts. And then we have our code that is writing a program that welcomes the user. Perfect. So once you have all that, make sure you save all, Control S, Control Shift S to save all, and you can exit that out. And then we're gonna go into your File Explorer, go to where you saved it as, and it should be saved. If you didn't change the location, it should be in your C drive, users, your user, and then source, repos, and you should see your folder there. And we want to zip up the whole folder, so we're going to hit send to compress zip. And then this is what you will turn in on Canvas. And so that was our console application for the Hello World. Thank you guys for watching. Hope this helped.